today, we've got the latest on that news that the late Ben Chifley has been evicted from his home in Bathurst. We've got an exclusive interview with the 16-vote man, Wayne Goss. We've got the latest on the artist formerly known as Prince, currently known as Idiot. We've got Radio Gladiators' Moment of Truth, and joining us live once again for a chat and a chinwag and a bit of a drink too, it's Judith Lucy. It's all coming up on the show that makes Ben Chifley turn in his grave, no matter where it is. Martin Molloy.
SAFM.
Welcome to Martin Molloy for a Wednesday, people, with myself, Tony Martin, and this bloke, a man whose decision to enrol himself on the Queensland electoral rolls under 16 different false names prompted a congratulatory fax from Premier Wayne Goss this afternoon. Mick Molloy.
And I did it for a dare, Tone.
Good on you. Now, I understand Wayne Goss is going to be talking to us exclusively on the program.
I'm looking forward to that because I'm very excited about actually doing an interview with him.
Oh, well,
should be good.
We'll just see what happens there. But let's turn to another story it's a bit of a disturbing one, this. Have you been following this claim by, I think he's the Urban Services Minister, some bloke in the ACT, Tony Di Domenico, and he wants to dig up former Prime Minister Ben Chifley. He's buried in Bathurst, which I think was his final wish, and he wants to move him to Canberra. I'm not sure what he's up to. I think it's some kind of plan. He wants to get all the Prime Ministers, the late Prime Ministers around the country, and move them to Canberra. He's trying to create some sort of dead Prime Ministers Super League, I think.
He's a busy little beaver, isn't he? He's just. What does he want to do? Dig him up and move him around like he's shifting furniture or something?
I think so, and I think really, if this is his plan, I think if we're going to go with it, it's up to us to do our bit and help him out.
We should chip in?
I think so. I think we should find some people who can actually do the job on his behalf. Pass over the phone, Mick Molloy, because I've got the yellow pages here, and I've found this company called Executive Relocations. Sounds like a job for them, doesn't it?
Sounds like just what we're looking for, Tone.
Well, that's the premise for this thin piece of comedy anyway. But here we go. Bit of dialing as always. And let's see.
Good afternoon, Executive Relocations. This is Maureen Conley.
Hello, Lorraine. This is Tony Martin and Mick Molloy calling from the Martin Molloy radio program.
Yes.
And we've got a bit of executive relocation work we'd like you to take on. Are we speaking to the right people here?
Yes, you are. What's this about?
Could you move someone from, say, Bathurst to Canberra? Would that be an easy job for you?
Well, we have an associate in Canberra who would be the appropriate person to look after that for you.
Right, we're just trying to get an indication of how this kind of arrangement works. We're talking about a former chief executive of Australia, in fact, the late Ben Chifley.
Right.
Have you heard about these plans by Tony Di Domenico to dig him up and ship him off to Canberra? I think he wants to get him installed in a glass case so that kiddies can have their photo taken with him, that kind of thing.
Okay, well, no, look, we really can't help you with that.
Really? You can't do...
We like live, we prefer live clients.
But surely this would be an easy job in that case. Just bung him in, a few post packs and get him down.
Couldn't you just put him to the roof of the car with a couple of ocker straps? And I mean, we'll pay the petrol.
No. You misunderstood the service that we provide.
Oh, look, I'm looking at your ad in the yellow pages. It says orientation, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously he's going to be a bit disoriented when he gets to Canberra. He's been bunking down for quite a while.
Could we just throw him in the boot of someone's car? I mean, this doesn't have to be a problem.
And obviously you guys wouldn't have to do the actual digging up. In fact, we're thinking of getting whoever it was who dug up John Howard to take this job on. And once we get him to Canberra, it's not necessarily a case of reinstalling him in the ground anyway. We're just thinking of propping him up in the Senate. We think he'd fit right in.
Interesting. Look, I'm awfully sorry, but I'm afraid we'd have to charge you so much money that it wouldn't be worth it to you.
Oh, I'm sure we could raise the money.
What about a timeshare thing? Couldn't we dig someone else up in Canberra and move their body to Bathurst and we could just slide into that spot?
Well, maybe you could. What's the program you represent here?
It's called Martin Molloy. Haven't you heard it, Lorraine?
No, I'm not Lorraine either. I'm Maureen.
Oh, sorry. I'm from Japan. You haven't heard the program?
No, I'm afraid I haven't, Martin.
Oh, you got that right. He can't get your name right, but you managed to get his right, Maureen.
That's right.
Thanks for your help, and we'll see you next time. Martin Molloy, and Mick just seems to have popped out. I'm not sure where he's gone, but that's actually quite good, because he was scheduled to do one of his rather lame Celebrity Corner segments at this point of the program. I've not been happy with the Celebrity Corner segment, and while he's out, I might take this opportunity to launch my rival segment, Tony Martin's Celebrity Spotlight. And thank you, the Gracie Pops Orchestra. Quite an improvement on that rinky-dink piano music you turn on for Mick Molloy. But Queensland Premier Wayne Goss has been returned to power by the slimmest of margins, 16 votes to be exact. We've got him on the phone now. Mr. Goss, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Tony. An absolute pleasure to be on your Celebrity Spotlight. And may I say a vast improvement on Mick's Celebrity Corner, which I believe was nearly as ill-conceived as our election campaign.
Wayne, congratulations. You're back in government.
Who's a lucky boy then? Wayne is. Yes, I'm very excited, Tony. I have to keep pinching myself to remind me it's actually happening. Watch, I'll do it now. Ouch! Oh, that really hurt.
Mr. Goss, the Queensland voters, they really gave you a kick in the pants.
Yes, they did. And I'd like everyone who lives in Queensland to know I've got the message loud and clear. In fact, I'd like to take this opportunity to kick myself in the pants. Here goes. Oh. Ow, that really hurt too. I think I've bruised my bottom.
Now, would you have stayed on as leader of the opposition if you'd lost the election?
No, I probably would have pursued some of my other interests.
Such as?
Oh, looking sheepish, feeling like a bit of a dick, providing voices for some of the Muppets, that kind of thing.
Now, was it the official margin? Let's see, was it 16 votes?
No, the official margin was, let me see, I think I've got it here. Yes, the official margin was a bee's dick.
So you've won by a bee's dick.
That's right, Tony, a bee's dick. And not a particularly well-endowed bee either. Even in bee circles, this particular bee is often the butt of other bees' jokes. You know, it's called Tiny, Needle Dick.
Right.
Around the hive, it's known as a bit of a John Wayne Bobbitt bee.
Mr. Goss, how do you explain the massive voter backlash against you and your government?
Tony, the voters were angry, and they came down on me like a ton of bricks. In fact, I'd like to take this opportunity to drop a ton of bricks on myself. Do you mind?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I think I deserved that.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Goss. And just out of interest, where did you get those bricks?
They all came from my pants, Tony. Oh, here comes another one now. False alarm.
In the meantime... Hey guys, feel like giving your pad a long overdue facelift? Need to create that special ambience and elusive male atmos that drives the ladies insane? Then give us a call here at Martin Molloy Interior Design for Blokes. We specialise in giving any place that, obviously there isn't a chick living here feel, that men have sought for generations. Just give us a call and one of our interior designers will be round to check your place out.
Okay, Pete, we've done some plans. Take a look. The first thing you'll notice is the bedroom. We've ignored the ample shelf space and just put dirty clothes all over the floor.
Right.
Take a look at this model and you'll see where we've put the clothes.
Oh, wow, you can hardly see the carpet.
Yes, you'll notice we've really made a feature of the smelly underpants, placed here, and maybe even appear on the doorknob.
Oh, this is like a dream home. What's that stain on the bed?
That's vomit.
Oh, when can I move in? By the time our team of experts are finished, you won't recognise the place.
This is the lounge room. What do you think of the carpet?
Are those rugs?
Nope, stains. Sump oil from a motorbike.
Oh, brilliant.
And look at the plan. When we're finished, there won't be 1 inch of this coffee table left. We're going to put a pyramid of empty beer cans here,
Right.
couple of overflowing ashtrays,
Right.
another pair of smelly underpants beside the pile of empty pizza boxes, and, well, how do you feel about a bong?
Oh, mate, you're a genius.
Now, have a look at what we've done with the fridge.
You've taken all the food out.
Yep, all we've left is a tub of margarine and a can of kidney beans.
Somebody pinch me. Once building is completed, we offer a range of services that will continue to give your place that blokey feel. We'll organise a cop to regularly drop by and complain about the noise and provide an answering machine chockers with messages that are sure to impress any group of friends. Hang on, guys. I'll just check the answering machine.
Hi, Pete. Thanks for last night. You were a tiger. When I was getting dressed this morning, I think I may have accidentally put on a pair of your dirty underpants. Mind if I bring them back tonight?
Oh, women, they just won't leave me alone. Call now and take advantage of our special couch offer. That's right, for no extra charge, we'll install a couch that comes with a guy called Trev on it who does nothing but lie there and watch TV. And at no extra cost, we'll provide a box of empty bottles just perfect for the kitchen floor.
Well, what do you think?
Great, except I don't know about that picture.
Hang on.
Oh, perfect. Martin Molloy, interior design for blokes. Check out one of our display homes with the dismantled car on the front lawn now. That's Foreigner. Not only as cold as ice, Mick, but willing to pay the price.
You've got to admire them. You've got to admire the crew over at Foreigner.
Here on Martin Molloy.
Correct.
And by the way, I think Judith Lucy's going to be popping in the next hour. She loves cold as ice. That's one of her... In fact, that was specially for her.
I'll bet you she's humming it as she comes through the door.
I'll bet you. And here's another tune, by the way, that people should be humming today. It's actually today, the 20th anniversary of one of the greatest bits of music that was ever written, getting to number one. And of course, I'm talking about this piece of music. The Hustle.
Notice that? You put it on and we all, the three of us immediately just jumped up and started doing it, didn't we?
Doing the hustle, because there is a bit of...
Look, I'm cracking a stitch.
I don't reckon that's the birdie I think you're doing. That's not the hustle.
It's a hustle with a hint of chicken tonight.
I think the hustle had a bit more butt work involved. There was a bit of sort of, bottom shaking.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think my parents used to do the hustle.
Did they?
When this was popular. And I think that's why I ran away from home and joined the Navy.
I think you were conceived after a rather nasty hustle session, Tone.
It could well be true. But if people out there are enjoying the hustle, what we want you to do, if you're driving home, just honk your horns along with the hustle. Like everybody listening, honk those horns. Do you think they're doing that? Let's just open the door and see. Oh, yes, people can't get enough of the hustle on Martin Molloy. Radio Gladiators. Radio Gladiators is on the way.
This is Martin Molloy.
New SAFM.
Where it's time for...
Radio Gladiators, your chance to represent your state and win fame, glory, and fabulous prizes. Here's today's challenge.
And we haven't done this one for a while, Mick. New characters that can enhance the program and become part of the Martin Molloy family.
The stable, Tone. The stable.
You know, we've never used any of the ones that the listeners have suggested to date, and there's no reason to think that we will. But here's some of the contributions we've had in the past. We've had Igor, the naughty schoolboy.
Mummy!
Then I think we had Clem, the pensioner.
I'd like to complain.
And, of course, there was Barry, the surly bus driver.
Get up the back, you lot, or this bus isn't going anywhere.
You know, I think it's time we updated the examples, Mick.
There's another one. There's one called Anthony, the Pantsless comedian.
That's right. Just for a bit of visual humour, Anthony Morgan is in the studio taking his pants off as we do the segment. But I don't know whether Anthony, the Pantsless comedian, is really going to work on radio.
Has he got a catchphrase? Is there anything Anthony the Pantsless? No.
He's also Anthony, the silent comedian. But I've been having a crack at coming up with a few characters, just a few examples.
Shoot away.
And I've got, there's Forgetful Dave. The absent-minded British historian who keeps insisting major historical events never actually happened. The what Holocaust? The what Renaissance? The what entry visa to Australia officer? I don't know, I think that could take off.
That's got legs.
Have you got one for us, Mick?
Yes, I do. I've got a comedy character called Jeffrey, the man who can't get a word in edgeways.
Really? And how does he work?
Well, he...
And what's his catchphrase, basically? Does
basically,
he have an idea behind it all? Or?
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Thank you.
We've been rehearsing all day. And I think there's a silver logie in the mail. Here's an idea, just a quick one for a character. Leaky Bob, the captain of the Iron Baron. And, of course, his catchphrase is, well, I guess it's penguins for dinner again. This is the kind of crap we're looking for, people. You're not doing it for nothing, as you know. Firstly, you get that 3-pack of CDs, including Madonna's Bedtime Stories, which we know is just pure bloody blue. And then you go into the draw for that weekend for two at Le Meridian at the Rialto, and I wish we had a couple of hours to really explain how fantastic that can be. But the number to call if you'd like to play, we'll let you go into the draw for that. Not everyone gets one.
Absolutely not.
Because Le Meridian are very choosy about who goes through the front doors there. If you'd like to play Radio Gladiators, call us with your comedy characters, 1-800-657-657.
This is your captain speaking.
Martin Molloy.
From Salisbury to Seaford, you've got us.
On the all-new SAFM.
Here on Martin Molloy, where we're in the thick of Radio Gladiators. What we're doing today, people, we're looking for new comedy characters that really can help this show get out of the mire, which we've entrenched it in with all the crap of the last 45 minutes. And someone's in the studio with us. It's actually Anthony Morgan. He hasn't got pants on. He's not allowed to say anything for contractual reasons, but he's passed me a piece of paper.
Oh, has he?
And his character is Jack, the absent-minded serial killer professional golfer. His catchphrase, well, someone else has to say the first line, Mick, so you do the first line.
What's your handicap, Jack?
I keep killing my caddy.
Could you write a note to Anthony saying he's won, but we can't give him the trip to Le Meridian?
But he can go down and just hang out in the foyer.
Yeah, or send his caddy.
He can.
Either way.
Okay, but let's get to the listeners. What have they got to offer, Mick?
Well, we've got Kevin on the line. Hello, Kevin.
How you doing?
Good, good, good. Now, you've been working on a comedy character that's going to blow our heads off. Your character is called?
It's Lightning, the uncoordinated carpenter.
Okay, and as Lightning always says...
Ouch! Who put that finger there?
Now, was that your catchphrase, or did something just happen in the phone box, Kev?
No. That's his catchphrase.
Hey, could you do it for us again?
Yeah, well, ouch! Who put that finger there?
Gee, I don't think we got that, Mick. Just one more time, Kev.
As you might have guessed, lightning means you can't hit the same place twice.
Okie dokie. Oh, I think we've got the idea, Kev. Have we got Katie there? Hello, Katie.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
That's the way. Now, your comedy character is called?
Katie, the very young contestant.
What's your character called?
Little Miss Pretty.
Little Miss Pretty, of course. One of my early ones, actually, which I abandoned at the age of 6. Okay, could you give us a little something from Little Miss Pretty?
Make the sunshine again, make the sunshine again. The sky's all down, make the sunshine again.
Yeah, I liked it better when you used to do it, Mick, but...
I think it'd be good if we recorded that and played it backwards. I think that would be rather interesting.
I think that would reveal all. Who's next?
Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, hi.
Good, very good. Now, the character you have for us is called?
Is Fritz. Fritz, the much-needed psychiatrist, you naughty boys.
For naughty boys?
Yeah.
And what does Fritz say?
Well, Fritz says, lay down on the couch and tell me your fantasies about your parents.
All right. Well, I reckon you're lying down on the couch right now doing a few fantasies of your own, Fritzy boy.
Oh, this one's threatening to turn blue. Let's move on to the next caller, Mick. Who is it? Bernie.
Hello.
How are you, Bernie?
Great, mate, great.
Are you in character already, or is that actually
No,
Bernie?
this is me for real.
Okay, well, you're going to introduce us to Oscar the Outraged, I understand.
Yes, he's slightly outraged.
All right, and what does Oscar say when he's outraged?
Oscar? Outraged? Oh, well, outraged? Outrageous? Oh, bloody hell.
How do you spell that exactly? No, I think we've heard quite a lot.
With a pen.
So basically your catchphrase is bloody hell.
Well, we can extend.
I don't think we've got the time. Have we got Angela there? Angela?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, and your character's called?
Baby Wren.
And what?
Baby Wren goes like this. Mummy, I've done poopy. Mummy, I've done fluffy. Mummy, I need bubba.
Tony, I think we should introduce Baby Wren to Igor, the naughty schoolboy. I reckon the two of those would go off like a house on fire.
Okay, give us a bit more of Baby Wren.
Mummy, I need nappy change.
Mummy!
Yes, I think we've made a love connection here on Radio Gladiators, but there can only be one winner, Mick. Who is it?
Don't know, Tone. Don't know. Any ideas?
I think just for perseverance, we're going to have to give it to Kevin, alias Lightning, the uncoordinated carpenter. Are you with us?
Thank you.
How are you, Kev?
Ecstatic.
Now, how's the catchphrase go again? Just one more time.
Ouch! Who put that finger there?
Now, I wouldn't go saying that at Le Meridian at the Rialto if you come out of the barrel tomorrow. Or whenever it is, Friday.
Been there once before.
Good on you.
Boss,
okay,
well, what, it's pretty classy.
Oh, it's very classy. But we're rapidly running out of time, so I'm afraid you've got the 3-pack of CDs and you've gone into the barrel. Thanks for playing Radio Gladiators, Kevin. And stick around, people, after the news. Judith Lucy.
This Telstra Mobile Net Digital.
Yes, it's that time again. The Black Thunders are out on an A to Z suburb blitz with SAFM and the completely legal Coca-Cola's Ice Cold Stash.
Wait.
And in this hour of Martin Molloy, another moment of truth, the latest bit of unusual behaviour from the artist formerly known as Prince, or as Prince if you prefer. But next up, we're on for a chat with Judith Lucy, all courtesy of the recently repainted folk down at Telstra Mobile Net Digital. SAFM. It's the big second hour, and Mick, time to roll out the carpet for the guest. It's someone, well, she's been on before, but the prospect of a free station wind cheater and a complimentary Phil Collins CD keeps her coming back for more. It's Judith Lucy. Here's trouble.
I'm a little bit upset because you said you played Foreigner's Cold as Ice for me when you know I specifically requested Toto's Rosanna.
Oh, well, we can't work miracles, you know, Judith. And by the way, did you realise Cold as Ice Foreigner, they're not only cold as ice, they're willing to pay the price.
They don't write them like that anymore, and that's why we play those songs from 15 years ago.
Indeed, and let's go back 20 years, in fact, because I don't know if you know this, we were talking about this earlier. It's actually the 20th anniversary to Hustle.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Let's hear a bit now. And we're asking all our guests to give us a bit of a hustle. So, Jude, do you want to... Yes, that's not bad. Is that the hustle? I think that's the bump.
Get off the desk, Jude.
No.
Get off the desk.
Oh, no, I think I've got into the birdie dance.
Hey, that's only for our international celebrities, Jude.
Sorry, that does take me back to some rather unfortunate high school dancing lessons. Did you guys ever experience those?
I might have done at school. I think I did the lambada, the forbidden dance on one occasion, but it was misinterpreted and I was expelled.
I was a bit of a wallflower, Jude.
I find that
I used to love to get up and hustle, but I was always overlooked, I suppose, for the more popular boys in the class.
Oh, now, that's probably because you hadn't drowned yourself in a vat of Brute 33.
No, I had.
Oh,
bit of Old Spice, too. I used to make my own blend. Oh, it was a cocktail. You would have drunk it in, Jude.
If only I'd been there in those days.
Before every show, Mick Molloy gargles with blue Stratos, Judith.
And that's why he's the chick magnet that he is.
He is. Now, look, tell us about what have you been up to? You haven't got anything to plug, have you?
No, you know me, just love being unemployed. No, because I am, of course, trying to find myself, that's why I did take myself off to a New Age festival recently and had my aura snapped. which
Did you?
I did, and it looked like I was wearing a bit of a golden afro. But the interesting thing was that they were able to tell from this, and you'll be particularly excited by this, Tony, that I'm actually from Atlantis.
Are you really?
I am, and
I
you know.
knew I recognised you, Jude.
Well,
I've always wondered about the gills, I have to say.
I was going to say, for someone from Atlantis, I'm actually a pretty piss-weak swimmer, but that could be because I'm not doing... I've been trying dog paddle as opposed to those fantastic gyrations of Patrick Duffy.
You do a mean bomb, Jude.
Oh, that's...
You know.
That's true, Mick.
Everyone in Atlantis has their bronze star, I'm told.
I also had a bit of a palm reading, and I actually have a bit of a good history with palm readings because the first time I had one done, had it done by a Russian woman who was a total maniac, Paddington Market, 60. She was, anyway, she told me I was fantastic and live to 100, be incredibly happy, successful, whatever. I've turned to my two friends and I've said, look, go and talk to her. She only costs $10. She's a complete kook, but she'll make you feel fantastic. She told my first friend that he was mentally retarded.
Right.
She said, I'm very sorry, but you're short in the mind. She was Russian. She had a bit of a language problem. And then she told my second friend that she would only have one son and that he would be a heroin addict and that at the age of 18 he would break into her home and steal everything from her, including your curtains. Yes, even your curtains, because you know how much money you can raise on the street from hot curtains. And then told her that if she ever slept in the fetal position or ate baked beans again, she would die.
And at the end of that prediction, did just a bloke with a net come in and she wasn't seen for a while?
Well, I hope so.
Okay, now, Jude, can you stick around because we want you to talk weddings.
Try and get rid of me.
We want to talk weddings with you because you're a bit of an expert on weddings, aren't you?
Well, I am now, yes.
Okay, we'll be back to talk more with Judith Lucy in just a moment on Martin Molloy. Judith Lucy's popped in for a chat. Judith, there's a lot of wedding bells in the air at the moment, isn't there, with the wedding show on the telly and Bob and Blanche. Did you see the Bob and Blanche ceremony at all?
I didn't. I was a little disappointed, but, gee, the little clips I saw, gosh, it looked classy.
Yeah, Hawkie's nose, it just wouldn't stop running.
Still going. People were washed down the streets.
And, of course, Rich Little tied the knot not that long ago either. So...
Rich Little?
Oh, don't tell me you don't remember that fantastic impersonator.
I impersonated. He tended to lean a bit on the Cagneys and the John Wayne, didn't he?
Apparently, he actually said, this is true, he said, I do, in the voice of Cary Grant. I thought that lucky lady, I thought, she hasn't married just one man, she's married a whole host of characters.
She did a great impersonation of a very impressed bride. It was sensational.
No, he said, I do, and he looked around and she was getting into the car.
Well, actually, no, I think she was getting her nappy put back on because there is a little bit of an age difference there.
Oh, is there? Is there?
But, yeah, there are a lot of weddings in the air, Tone, and I've got to say that it's prompted me to do a bit of wedding research because my behaviour in the past at weddings hasn't been exactly faultless.
Is that right?
Well, it sort of made me go out and buy a book, Mick, which you might, in fact, be interested in yourself.
I'm sure I've read it.
How to plan and organise a wedding.
Yep.
Tips about what to do when you're giving speeches. And people have been foolish enough to ask me to speak at several weddings. And if only I'd read some of the tips in this book, because first tip was don't rely on Dutch courage, they said. Remain sober. And the second tip was don't crack any jokes that might be in bad taste about marriage. Now, why didn't I read that a couple of years ago when I was asked to give a bit of a speech at a wedding and I had one or two? I'd actually been rolling around on the lawn with the bride's brother and actually stood up to give the speech with my dress covered with grass seeds, with lipstick smeared all over my face. So much lipstick it could really have doubled for foundation, and finished off my hilarious speech by cracking what I thought was a terrific joke, which was the one about two women having a chat, and one turns to the other and says, "Oh, I think I made a bit of a Freudian slip this morning with my husband. Instead of saying, 'Honey, could you pass me the butter?' I said, 'You bastard, you've ruined my life.'" Which really went down well with the bride and groom.
It was a bit of a Tunstall moment.
It was a bit of a Tunstall moment, but I can't be stopped. I've read that. I've rushed out and bought a copy of Modern Bride. And very interesting. I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually get married at Walt Disney World. You can arrive, the bride can arrive in Cinderella's coach, and you can have Mickey and Minnie Mouse as guests of honour at your reception. And I don't know about you, but I've always wanted a couple of midgets in rat suits at my wedding. Actually, that's not true. I'd be a bit disappointed. I was sort of gunning for Foghorn Leghorn to pop into my reception.
It's going to be fun watching you roll round out the front with Goofy.
Grass stains all over his big plastic nose.
Oh, that'd be a dream come true.
Okay, Jude, well, I think really we can take this opportunity to say that Judith Lucy is available for weddings, and just call or fax the station if you want to book her. Judith, thanks for coming in today.
Pleasure.
And will you come back again?
Oh, you betcha.
Good on you. This is Martin Molloy. Of course, it's time for
Moment of Truth.
And I don't think we need to explain the competition. I think people have been taking notes all week and they're slowly putting the pieces together. I think they've worked it out by now, Mick. But what about those prizes? Pete, tell us about them.
Every contestant on Moment of Truth scores a copy of Mac Sharam's album, $1 Million Girl. I've heard it, and if there's a better album released this year, I'll be dining on Hat à l'Orange.
I'm coming around. I'm coming around. You got to be. You had got to before.
Every winner goes into the draw for a week of indulgence for two at Bilbray, Australia's only boutique health retreat, right on the beach between Byron Bay and Coolangatta. I've been to Bilbray myself. At least that's what I found tattooed on my forehead when I woke up this morning. Last time I hit the clubs with Ernie Sigley. Back to you, lads.
Oh, I don't believe that for a moment. He'll be out there tonight with the flared pants on, doing the hustle his own self, will our Pete Smith. But if you'd like to play Moment of Truth, call now, 1-800-657-657.
This is Martin Molloy.
It's been almost an hour.
It's Moment of Truth time here on Martin Molloy. Mick, who have we got today?
We've got Tony on the line. Hello, Tony.
G'day.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
Oh, I can't complain at this stage.
That's good.
Now, Tony, do you know how the segment works? Do I have to ask?
No, of course I know how it works.
Okay, but for those listening who might not have caught up with it yet, here's Pete Smith.
4 facts. Only one of them actually true. Can you pick the moment of truth? But first, here's a track off my new ragtime album.
Yeah, that's great, Pete. Yeah, okay, thanks, Pete, thanks. Oh, he just gets a bit bored in the booth, I think. Sorry about that, Tony. But,
Okay, lads, let's fly with the porkies.
Have a lie down, Mr. Copperut. Now, are you familiar with the work of Take That, Tony?
Not really.
No, okay, well, you might be a bit lost, but give it a plug anyway. Here we go with the question. Now that British teen heartthrob Robbie Williams has quit Take That, his rumoured replacement is said to be A. Luke Goss,
B. Matt Goss,
C. Wayne Goss,
D. Tony Barber.
I'll go for B.
Oh, I'm afraid not. And Tony, you've been the victim of a trick question here on Moment of Truth, because in fact the answer is D. Tony Barber.
Tony Barber.
But I don't think it's the Tony Barber that we know and love. It's a different Tony Barber described as... Oh, what was that?
I don't know.
I think Tony's wife's taken umbrage and she's on her way in here in the car. But Tony Barber, the hunky dancer. Hunky dancer, Tony Barber.
Tony Barber, as opposed to our Tony Barber, who we've had in on this show a number of times.
Although I think that Tony Barber is putting out a track in the style of Take That, actually, Mick. I think we've got a bit of it here.
Be sure it's true if you tour North Queensland. It's a sin to miss a mocha.
Yes, okay, thanks very much, Tony. And, Tony, you're not going away. You're that fabulous Max Sharam album.
Oh, great.
Okay, that's all yours to enjoy. And I think that was a bit of a vote of confidence from Mrs. Tony.
It's a comedy character she's working on in the background.
The aggravated contestant's wife.
She didn't get onto Gladiators, but she's given it a go anyway.
And we'll play again on Moment of Truth here on Martin Molloy. Ah, that's Dion Farris, I know, here on Martin Molloy. And I have this article in front of me, Mick, and I'd just like to point out once again that hunky dancer Tony Barber could be replacing Robbie Williams in the chart-topping band Take That. It's bona fide. I haven't made this up.
Absolutely.
But people have been complaining. They're saying, Moment of Truth, it's too easy. It's always A or B. So we had to have a D eventually.
We threw in a D.
But how was...
And they didn't like it.
How was Mrs. Tony just going right off? I think is an exact quote from Tony's wife.
She was talking in tongues, Tone.
I was picturing her coming out of the bath like Glenn Close at the end of Fatal Attraction going, "Give me my trip to Belbury!"
I was picturing her head spinning the full 360 degrees with vomit everywhere, personally. She was giving it heaps, wasn't she?
I think Tony's got the squeegee out round at his place. But look, here's some news. This is I'm always interested in news concerning the artist formerly known as Prince. That's still his official title, by the way, except obviously when he's booking into hotels incognito, then he's the artist formerly known as Smith. But it's... It must be a bugger for him, though, you know, fitting the artist formerly known as Prince onto, say, a driver's licence or a home loan application form. And I bet he's sick of signing autographs. Although I hear close friends get to call him just Formally.
Is that right?
G'day, Formally. See you later, love. I'm just going round to Formally's place.
On your form.
Sorry to call you so late, Formally. I'm going to a fancy dress ball as a clown and was wondering if I could borrow your purple pants. But anyway, according to this story, Formally's fallen for British supermodel and TV personality Veronica Webb, who, despite having refused... listen to this. He's gone on her show, this woman, Veronica Webb, and he hasn't spoken a word to her.
Right.
And during his appearance, he covered his face and would only answer questions through a belly dancer. This is true. This is the artist formerly known as Prince's work. It's got his fingerprints all over it. So, like Mrs. Webb, the supermodel, would have to direct her questions to the belly dancer, who would then ask the artist formerly known as Prince. He'd have a think, whisper his reply in her ear, and then she'd say, well, the artist formerly known as Prince reckons, nah. Gee, that'd be a pretty short interview on this show, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Excuse me, Mrs. Belly Dancer, could you tell the artist formerly known as Prince he's a pretentious wanker? Could he please get rid of that ridiculous bum fluff while he's there? But during the so-called interview, formally revealed through the belly dancer that he'd changed his name at the request of a spirit. And if people are changing their names because of spirits, does that mean Russia is now ruled by the president formerly known as Yeltsin? I don't know. But anyway, despite the bizarre interview, Veronica Webb and the former Prince are now inseparable and have been seen together at fashion shows in New York and Paris. Asked if they'd discussed marriage, Webb replied, yes, we talked about it in bed last night, and the belly dancer said they'd get back to me next week.
Martin Molloy.
Tony Martin here from Martin Molloy. You know, as broadcasters who are sensitive to the wants and needs of our listeners, we're only too aware that much of our program's content could be described as exceeding the bounds of good taste. There's an example right there. And as such, this program receives its fair share of complaints from listeners. In order to demonstrate our commitment to improving the quality of the show and servicing the needs of our audience, we would like to demonstrate exactly what happens when you phone up to complain. Firstly, your call is received and processed by the sophisticated Martin Molloy Telstra answering service.
Hello, Martin Molloy.
Oh, hello. I'd like to complain about that last item. I thought it was in very poor taste. and some of the sound effects were quite offensive.
Oh, for God's sake, lady, blow it out your ass.
Next, your complaint is rushed straight to our station manager for assessment. What now, mate?
Oh, some old bird didn't like the farting sketch.
Look, send her a station wind cheater and tell her to piss off. Having pinpointed the offensive item, the production department steps in and makes the necessary modifications.
What are we going to do with this one, Mick?
Mate, can you crank up the farts a bit?
What, like this?
Yes, excellent.
And finally, with your objection acknowledged and acted upon, Mick and myself hop round to apologise in person.
Okay, Tone, hold the bag still, will you?
Okay.
Right, put it on the doorstep.
Do I light it yet, Mick?
Go for it.
Okay.
Well, right, scarper.
So there you go. Let it never be said that this program doesn't recognise the needs of its listeners. Hello, Martin Molloy. Yes, madam, it was... Yes, we did... Right. Have you tried Nugget? It's been a special edition today because it's the 20th anniversary of this particular piece. That particular piece of music there, The Hustle. 20 years old today, and people still...
Still as fresh and young and vibrant as it ever was, Tone.
Indeed, and if you're driving home from work and you're listening, what we want you to do, we did this earlier, and I think it was, well, it caused a bit of trouble, apparently. There's a police officer on his way into the studio now. We want you to honk the horns to the tune of The Hustle. Do the hustle! Do you think they're doing it? Let's just open the studio. Yes, people can't get enough of The Hustle. Well, I think we've... Oh, that's much better.
Honk your horns if you're sick of our Boss Skaggs theme.
Yes, we have to go. And thanks to our guests today, the sensational Judith Lucy. She's an ornament to the program. Also, Maureen down there at Executive Relocations, the silent but deadly Anthony Morgan, and all our gladiators. Tomorrow we'll be joined once again by Wendy Harmer. But until then, remember, if you go and say something intelligent, do the hustle!
Martin Molloy is a misguided production in association with Half-Baked Ideas and Ill-Conceived Concepts Proprietary Limited. Brought to you by Telstra Mobile Net Digital.